Right, in this video we're now going to talk about styling our page in major ways, basically. Um, this is going to be using our divide tags, so our divs, which is a new element that we're going to introduce into this. And we're not going to do anything overly fancy with this, mainly because to try not to complicate or confuse you. So what we'll do is we want to now split this up into I'm going to split this up into one divider box for the heading area, a dividing box for our video and image areas, and create a two-column area on our web page. It'll make sense as we're going through. So what I'll do now is I'm going to create a div, and for the purposes of showing you what divs do, I'm just going to quickly do a generic div like that. So what a div is a divider. So it works the same as any other tag in that regards of we can control the element and everything associated within that element. So as you see there, we've got our body is still lilacly pink, but everything within our divider is now green. That's a good way of doing some highlighting specific areas, but I'm just wanted to show you that we can control our div element as we can control everything else, but we don't need to do that at the moment. So now the way I would do divs personally is I will introduce you an idea of div ID allocation. So we have our div, and within the tag we can give it an identifier. This identifier will make it easier for you to understand what it's controlling in regards to the page. So we'll do a div ID equals, and now we give it a name. So this div is going to be our header controller. So div ID header, and I want it just to control our H1, our H2, or our header element area. So we close that div. Now, just because we give it a div ID there, we don't need to give it a closed div ID down here. We just do /div. The ID, again, that's just the way it is. In that regard. Now, if we want to control the header element, we can't now just do div because that won't work anymore. So we now need to do a hashtag and then our ID name. So if we do hashtag, it'll come up with all our CSS names we've already given it. So finding header, because we've already created a div ID down here with header. So we do header there. Background. Color. Green. So as you see there, what we've done there is we've created a little box, essentially. If we wanted to space that out, we can add some padding in there. So we can add some 20 pixels of padding. So that creates sort of 20 pixels high, 20 pixels side, 20 pixels bottom around the whole thing. Or we can actually control that a bit more if we wanted to. We're doing padding bottom 20 pixels. So it's got 20 pixels padding at the bottom. So we can control our size of that if we want to in that sense. You could also give it a height value. However, this can throw some interesting results. But we're not going to do that for this template. So there we go. That's our head and div done there. So if we wanted to, we can control all our content. So we could have a div ID storyboard. It's got to be in the quotation marks. /div. And again, up here we can stylize that bit as well. Stop it. Thank you. Storyboard. Again, as you see, we can do contrast that as well if we wanted to. So we can separate our page into little areas. We could have this as a background and image if we wanted to. We can text to the left. So that's everything within that div box we contain to the left. Again, it won't show up too obviously with our image at the moment, but if we resize this window, you'll see that it stays to the left, even though everything else is staying to the center, because our body is controlling everything to be in the middle. But this is overwriting that, because we've given it a div style that contradicts that. And it works in a sense of sequential order. What's at the top is what's shown first. If there's anything at the bottom later on that overrides that, it will fight against it and overrides the control, basically. Yeah. So there we go. Storyboard element. Right. So what we're going to do now is show you how to quickly create 2 columns. So what we want to do now is create more divs, essentially. So I'm going to have div ID equals column 1, and I'm going to do this actually with the text element, to be honest, for you. Div ID paragraph closed div, open div, open div, close div, open div, close div, open div, close div. All right, cool. That's that one done. We're going to need another one of these because we are going to create 2 columns and show you how to do columns. Now the thing I'm going to say straight away is if we want 2 columns, we need them to be underneath, well, next to each other in terms of left, right, let's say. Otherwise you will end up with erroneous results. So if we go up to here and we go hashtag column 1 width now we want to give this a value of 50%, which is 50% of our page, and we're going to give our column 2 the other 50% of our page. Again, you can adjust these values as you see fit. Let's see if that works. It might not. Div ID open, div ID close, div ID open, div ID close. Alright.